Hello, my name is Katie, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm doing November's full face of first impressions a month later. I actually did 2 first impressions in November, so I'm just gonna put all of those makeup products I tried together for one video. So I've got 21 products in total that I tried last month that I'm gonna rank. I've discluded the e.l.f. primer just because I don't really have a lot to say about it, to be honest. It feels nice, it smells nice. Do I really think it improved the longevity of my makeup? Not really, no. And I didn't really use it too often. I used it a couple times, but I just didn't really feel like I had enough of a comment to make on this, so I took that one off the list. I feel like there was one other product I took off the list, but I can't for the life of me remember what it is right now. Yeah, I've like kind of ranked it from 21 to 1, so 21 being my least favourite product, 1 being my favourite product. Obviously, there was a lot of products to go through. This list is a bit like, I mean, it's just kind of like, yeah, I guess that can go there, that can go there, yeah, sure, whatever. But I'll just talk you through all my opinions as we go through each product. So we'll start from number 21. This is my least favourite product that I tried in November's first impressions, and that is the MUA Ultra Sparkle Face and Eye Glitter Gel palette. This is the Sugar Plum one. So this is what the palette looks like, and in my first impressions where I used this, I really didn't like it. I said I'd give it another go. I've used it a couple times. I just don't get along with this. It's just not the type of formula I like when it comes to glitters. I prefer just to use a straight up glitter pigment and stick it on with glitter glue. Yeah, it's a little bit more irritating to the eyes than something like this, but you know, at least actually kind of shows up and is opaque. This just looks really patchy. My cohort to go get ready with me, I used a little bit of this just like kind of in this part, and it kind of took my eyeshadow off underneath as well, and that didn't look particularly great. It just looks really patchy. The colour doesn't look as nice as it looks in the pan. I don't really know how to get this to work for me. It's a shame because the colours look absolutely stunning, like they are gorgeous. I just can't get it to work on my eyes for me personally. At number 20, I've gone with the Wet n Wild Pressed Powder Photo Focus. This is in the light shade, which is not written on the packaging, I don't think. Yeah, it looks like this. Colour for a start off is too dark for me. It just looks really orange when I use it. I can't. When you're pale, there'll be times when your makeup will just look a bit dark and you can kind of live with it. But I can't live with it with this. It just looks too orange on me. In terms of the formula, like, I mean, it does mattify you. I found that first time that I used it, I didn't feel like it was properly setting me. Like, I still felt like I was a bit too oily. Like, I didn't feel like I was properly mattified. It definitely starts to kind of work more the more you use it. I found that with the Tarte powder that I used last month. It definitely does work once you go through kind of like the first sort of layer of it. It definitely does mattify you, but when I did use it to set my face, after I had kind of gone through that first layer, I just found it a little bit heavy, a little bit cakey. It didn't really look nice, and on top of that, with the colour being off, this just isn't something that I particularly want in my life, really. So at number 19, I've gone with the Revlon Colour Stay. What are you doing here? The Colour Stay Liquid Liner. The one that looks like this. I was a bit confused by this because I saw it had really good ratings on Superdrug, so I thought, oh, this must be a pretty good liquid liner then. But I just found that this looks really like patchy. Like, it doesn't look opaque and nice. So like, for example, I've got like my NYX liquid liner on today, and like, you can tell it's like pigmented, but like this, I just feel like it looks patchy. Like, I feel like you'd layer over it and it just wouldn't look like it was filled in. Also, it's just super flaky and crusty, and it's just not a good liquid liner formula, really. I mean, it's not too difficult to use. I mean, I don't know, I still feel like that one's a little bit chunky. Like, it's got a nice point at the end, that's pretty good, but I don't know, it's not the easiest to use liner I've ever found, but it's not terrible to use either. But I just don't like the formula of it. It's just a bit flaky. A bit disappointed in this because it did have good ratings, so I thought it was going to be good, but really, the times that I have used it, I've just not really liked how it's turned out. At number 18, I've gone with the Bourjois Radiance Reveal Concealer. Mine's in the light shade 01. Ivory. Now, this isn't a bad concealer. The colour's just way too like orangey on me. I could not get away with this colour. If I use it, I have to use like a white concealer or something with it. When it comes to like foundations, I don't really mind if I have to use a white mixer because I'll just be like doing it on the back of my hand anyway. But with concealer, it's a bit awkward because, I mean, obviously, like the applicator, it's the sort of thing where you would swipe it straight into your face, so then I have to like kind of go over it with a white concealer, and then it's just, you had to kind of mix it while it's on your face, which, I mean, like, it's not a big deal, but I don't know, it's just a bit more awkward than if it was a foundation. It's got like a nice kind of dewy finish, like it does have some decent coverage, but it's definitely not like a full coverage concealer. The other concealer that I tried this month I just liked a lot better, but I will talk about that one later. So it's not bad. Like, if you can find one that's in your colour, I think you might like it, but again, it's not a full coverage concealer, it is more of a kind of natural one, so if you're into that and if you can get a shade that matches you, then you might get along with this quite nicely. I definitely don't hate it, but it's just not the sort of thing that I'm going to want to pick up a lot. At number 17, I've gone with the BH Cosmetics Brilliance Bronzer in the shade Golden Gal. This is a matte bronzer, and that's what it looks like there. On me, this is just a bit too orangey, a bit too dark. The formula's not too bad, like it does blend out quite nicely. It's, you know, it's not a bad formula, but it's just one of those colours where it just, I don't want to reach for it very often because it just looks a bit orange and a bit too dark for me. Again, I don't think it's a bad formula, so if you can find one in a shade that you like, then I wouldn't like not recommend it. It's just, for me personally, I don't know, I've just got a lot better bronzers that suit my complexion more. That's why I put it so low, but it's not bad. At number 16, I've gone with the e.l.f. Beautifully Bare Satin Lipstick in the shade Touch of Nude. This is what it looks like. It's just kind of a nude bullet lip. And to be fair, I have used it quite a bit. It's definitely not a bad product. The only reason like I rank it low is just because it's such a creamy formula, it's really not going to stay on your lips very long. Like, it just, I find like I'll put it on and like it's gone after like an hour or so. It just doesn't last very well. It's not bad though, like I'd still like reach for it, you know. It's like it's a really nice nude colour, the sort of thing I like to wear on a more regular basis, but the only reason I mark it down so low is just because it's not got the best longevity. Number 15, I've gone with the other lip product that I tried. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Catsuit Matte Lipstick in the shade Nudie Patootie, and I have got this one on my lips today, and I actually love the colour of this. Like, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it so much because it is quite like a nude colour, but I actually really like the colour. The formula's pretty decent, like it's definitely pigmented, it's not like patchy or anything like that. Obviously I'm wearing it today. The only thing that I can like think of that I don't like about it is it feels a little bit drying on the lips. Like, it's definitely more comfortable than some liquid lipsticks I've tried, but it's still not the most comfortable. You can kind of see that it does kind of sink into the lines of my lips a little bit, not terribly, but I mean, I find that with most liquid lipsticks anyway. The thing is, like, I don't really wear liquid lipsticks too often, not the sort of thing that I reach for like when I'm going to work or anything like that. I don't know, I just find them hard to like upkeep really. Definitely not a bad formula. I mean, a little bit drying, but not terribly drying. Number 14, I've gone with the e.l.f. highlighter. I think it's called like the Prismatic Duo or something. The shade is Mermaid Tail. It's the one that comes like this. There is like powder going everywhere with this. Again, this is not bad. It's actually really nice. I do really like the look of it. It's just not the most pigmented highlighter that I've used, and it's just not my favourite formula. Like, it does definitely give you a really nice sheen. It definitely shows up really nicely. But it's just not my go-to highlighter. It's not the type of highlighter that I just want to pick up on a regular basis, and the other highlighter that I tried this month is more so in that category, but I'll talk about that one later. So I do like this. I've used it a few times throughout the month. It's just, I don't know, it's not like, oh my god, you need this on your face, wow. At number 13, I've gone with the Wet n Wild Mega Slim Skinny Mascara, and I've got this one on my bottom lashes today. I definitely really like this one for bottom lashes. I have tried it out on my top lashes as well, and like, it does work. Like, it definitely does something for your top lashes. It does give you a bit of volume, but I don't know, it's just definitely something that I prefer to use on my bottom lashes really. It definitely, you do require a bit of patience with it. Like, you have to kind of build it up and kind of go into each individual kind of part of your eyelashes to get the look you want. So it's definitely not the fastest thing to use, but I like it for bottom lashes. It's just not the sort of thing I'd want to reach for my top lashes too often. Like, it looks okay on them, but it's just not my favourite. But if you are looking for like something really with a really like small wand to get into your bottom lashes quite intricately, then I think you would really like this. I would recommend it for that. At number 12, I'm going to go with the Rimmel Natural Bronzer. This is in the shade 021 Sunlight, and it looks like this. This one's definitely better for my skin tone than the BH Cosmetics one. It's still not the perfect colour, like it's still like a little bit dark, But I just feel like this one applies a bit more subtly than the BH Cosmetics one. I like it. It does give like a really nice warm bit of glow, and it does blend out really well. It's a nice bronzer, but again, it's just not the perfect colour for me. Like, I just have some bronzers in my collection that work a little bit better for my complexion, but it's definitely not bad. Like, I would still, you know, pick this one up. And at number 11, I've gone with the Jordana 12 Hour Made to Last Liquid Eyeliner Pencil. Liquid? How is it liquid? It's a coal. It's the shade 01 Black Joint. This is just kind of a kohl pencil liner. I do actually really like this. It's pretty pigmented. I feel like the other eyeliner that I used this month I like a little bit more. It's just a tiny bit more pigmented, and it lasts a little bit longer, but this will still last pretty well. I do quite like this one. No issues with sharpening it. It's a pretty good eyeliner, if I'm honest. It's only because it's got tough competition that it's kind of in the middle, really, but it's a good eyeliner. I would recommend it. Although I do like the other one that I tried a little bit more. Number 10, I'm going to go with the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation, which is a very nice foundation. I really like the level of coverage this gives. It's quite like a high medium. I personally really like the kind of big doe foot applicator. I just find it kind of easier to use to just kind of slay it all over your face and blend in. I just find that quite convenient. I don't know, everyone likes those sort of applicators. Colour match of this is pretty good. I like the coverage. I don't know, I just feel like it looks a little bit foundation-y when I wear this, and it doesn't sit well on all of my texture. Like, it doesn't look bad. Like, the finish is pretty nice, but it's just not like my favourite finish ever, and it does last pretty well. I will insert a clip in just a second of how the foundation wears. I found that the other foundation I tried this month wore a little bit better, but this one did actually still wear a bit better than I was expecting it to. It's a nice foundation. I definitely will keep using this one. I do like it. It's just, is it my favourite foundation I've tried this year? Not really, no, but I still like it. Hello, me again. Today I've worn the Revolution Conceal and Define foundation, and it's been on my face for about 8 hours, so quite a while. I was expecting this to actually look worse than it does. Like, it actually, I thought this was going to disintegrate worse, because I feel like there was a day where I wore it and I looked at it at the end of the day and it had like come off quite badly, but today it hasn't really done that, so maybe that was just like a face touchy day. I don't think this one wears quite as nicely as the Wet n Wild one. I wouldn't put it on that level, but I mean, it doesn't actually look too bad. I thought it was going to look a bit worse than it does. It definitely has broken down in areas. Like, I'll just show you up close on my forehead, kind of like in this center part, it's gone quite textured and starting to break down, but obviously it has sunken into the pores quite a bit, but I mean, like, really not that bad as I thought it was going to be. I think I'd put this one on the same level as like the Tarte Amazonian Clay. I gave that one like a 7 out of 10 for wear. I think I'd put it on that level. It's not quite as nice as like the NYX, the Wet n Wild, W7, those ones, but honestly it's not bad wear. Like, this doesn't look terrible. I wouldn't be like, ew, never wearing that again. Definitely not. In fact, I think it wears good. Not great, but good. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the wear of the Conceal and Define. Like I said, 7 out of 10, slightly above average, I'd say. Number 9, I've gone with the e.l.f. brow pencil. I think the shade is Neutral Brown. Yep, Neutral Brown. This is a pretty good brow pencil. I've got this one on my brows today. I like that it doesn't come out really like harsh and makes your brows look really bulky. It's fairly natural looking, which I quite like. This one also kind of works for touch-ups, so often I'll use a brow gel and then I'll just want to use a pencil to kind of add a bit more definition to my arch or something like that. I found that it did work pretty well for that. I find like, because once you kind of use it a bit, the tip goes a bit kind of flatter. When you first get it, it's more pointed, so it works a bit better for that when it's more pointed. But it does still work for touch-ups, but it's definitely not my favourite thing to use for that. I do generally prefer like micro brow pencils for that. But when you just use it kind of on its own, I really like the effect that it gives because it is quite natural. The colour's pretty good to me and it kind of blends with the spoolie very easily. So this is a pretty good brow pencil actually. If you're not into like the really kind of natural diffused brow, you might not like it. Number 8, I've gone with the Gosh Lash Sculpting Mascara with Seaweed, which is this one here, and I've used this one quite a bit throughout the month. This is a pretty good mascara actually. I really like it. Gosh mascaras have been a bit hit and miss with me. There's been some I've tried that I just really haven't liked, and others that I thought were pretty good. This one definitely is pretty good. This one's got the kind of wand where you can use it on your top and your bottom lashes, and it works really well. I'll insert a little clip just how this mascara looks, just so you can see it in action before and after, no lashes, and then this mascara. It's definitely a pretty good mascara. Is it my favourite mascara I've ever used? No, and I've got the other mascara that I've used, I have put just above this one. They're pretty close, to be honest. So at number 7, I've gone with the other mascara that I tried, which is the Wet n Wild Lash-O-Matic Fibre Mascara Extension Kit. I think I said that right. It's the one that comes with 2. You've got fibres and then the actual mascara. I've got this one on my top lashes today. This is really good. This is really voluminous. I feel like I like the effect of this one a bit more than the Gosh one. However, the Gosh one is definitely easier to use. You obviously don't have 2 aspects of it. You could just put this on straight away. So this was definitely faster to use. But the reason why I've ranked this one higher is because I just feel like it's got a little bit more impact and a little bit more volume. Really like it. The only thing is, you know, if I'm in a rush, I'm not going to reach for something like this, because obviously it's got like, well, it's technically 3 steps, because you go with this, that, and then this again. So if you ain't got the patience for that, you might not be into this. But for me, it's a bit like, I mean, there are some days where I will spend like ages on my makeup, so I don't mind it, and then there's days when like I'm at work where, you know, I don't really have the time. I just want to get my makeup done as fast as I can and go. At number 6, I've gone with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. I've also got this one on my face today. The colour is a little bit dark for me. Like, I definitely feel like a white mixer would make this better. I haven't actually put a white mixer on with it today. Like, sometimes I feel like I can get away with it, other times I can't. Got a really like beautiful, flawless, smooth finish. It's got really good coverage. On like the first layer, it's kind of like a medium coverage, but you can kind of build it up to like a low full coverage, which is really nice. I don't feel like this emphasizes my textures at all, which I felt like with the Revolution one it did slightly. Again, the only kind of issue I have with this is that it's quite heavy. Like, you definitely could tell you're wearing a foundation with it. Like, it's definitely a heavy feeling foundation. But like, I don't really mind that, to be honest. It really just depends what type of look I'm going for that day. It also wears really well. We'll just insert a clip of you of how this wears after a long day. Pretty good wear in my opinion. It's a really nice foundation. I really like it. Again, the only issue I could say is it's a bit heavy. That's it, really. I'm wearing the Wet n Wild foundation, and I thought I'd just show you how this is held up after a long day. I put this on at about 1:30 p.m. and it is now 10:30 p.m. I've had a nice lovely day at work, which means no, I haven't had a lovely day at work. It wasn't lovely. Anyway, I'm just looking at this foundation now, and honestly, like, it looks really good. Like, I'm very impressed with how this is worn, actually. When I like kind of wear foundations, like, I'm just so like, I feel like shit at the end of the day, so I don't really bother like checking like how the foundations actually look. It's only when I kind of do wear tests for videos I actually properly pay attention to it, and this actually looks pretty damn good. It hasn't really broken down too badly anywhere. Obviously areas such as my nose, it's come off. I say this all the time, but foundation is not going to wear well around my nose because I touch my nose all the time because it's irritated. Sort of around my mouth, I kind of touch that area too, and like when I'm eating and stuff, so sometimes it can break down there. But I'm going to get a bit closer in a minute, but honestly this actually looks really good. I'm very impressed with the wear of this foundation. I think I'd give this an 8.5 actually, an 8.5 out of 10 for wear. I'm really impressed. So I'm just going to get a bit closer just so you can see. Obviously it doesn't look perfect. No foundation's going to look amazing on my skin after a long day, after like 9 hours, that's for sure. But considering it's 9 hours. So I feel like you can see kind of where it's kind of sunk into the texture a bit, but like, if I'm honest, like, that looks really good on my forehead compared to how a lot of foundations look. Obviously broken down on my nose, but like all here looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I've also got on the Wet n Wild highlighter, and that's lasted pretty well as well. Has faded a little bit, but a lot of highlighters are like just gone from your face by the end of the day, but the fact that you can still see this is good. At number 5, I've gone with the Barrier but Shipwrecked Baked Matte and Metallic Eyeshadow palette. This is a really nice palette. I've got a mixture of this one and the Lottie London palette, that I also tried this month on my eyes today. This is just very pigmented. There's only one shade in this that I found disappointing, and that was the matte yellow shade. For some reason this one's just not very pigmented, but literally everything else in this palette is incredibly pigmented. The shimmers in particular are absolutely gorgeous. I love the shimmers. I've got the silver one on kind of the outer part of my eyes today. And minus the yellow, the mattes are also really pigmented. So this is just actually a really gorgeous eyeshadow palette. And like, you get a lot of shades in there. I think it's about like $12.99, so obviously pretty damn affordable. And considering the amount of shades that you get in there, I feel like it's a pretty good deal really. And like just the selection of colours, there's definitely like a lot of variety in there. Like I've used this quite a few times actually. I've done more eyeshadow than I would normally because I did have some time off towards the end of November and early December, so I have been doing a few more eyeshadow looks than I normally would. And I've used this a lot and I really like it. I just feel like there's a lot you can kind of do to play around with it. Definitely would recommend trying this out. And at number 4, I've gone with the other eyeliner pencil that I tried, which is the Gosh, the Ultimate Eyeliner with a Twist in 01 Back in Black, and I've got this one on my waterlines today. I've reached for this one a lot. It's just really convenient to use. I like twisty up liners. I just find them super convenient to use because you literally just twist it up. There you go. Don't ever have to worry about sharpening it. I've used this quite a lot and it looks like I still have, yeah, I've got a hell of a lot of product left. I find like with some twisty up ones, like the Nip and Fab one I used a few months ago, that ran out so fast, and like it's been over a month since I tried this. It's been like a month and a half, and I've used this not every day, but I've used it like at least 3 to 5 times a week. And like the fact that I've still got so much product left is really good. It's just very pigmented, it glides on so easily, it doesn't irritate the eyes at all, and it lasts pretty damn well as well. So definitely the sort of thing that I need in my life. Really like this. And at number 3, I've gone with the other eyeshadow palette, which is the Lottie London X Tuli Living My Best Life palette. I'm not sure if I've pronounced her name right. I know that it's like a collab with an Instagrammer, but this palette is absolutely gorgeous. The mattes are very pigmented, beautiful. The shimmers are also incredibly pigmented, beautiful. Again, I've got a mixture of this one and the Barry M palette on today. I've got like the shimmery blue out here and the darker blue in my crease. It's just gorgeous. Like I love the colours. I love how it's like really warm toned, but then you've got like these kind of bluey greeny things going on as well. Just a pretty cool colour combination. This is just like the sort of thing that I'd reach for if like, you know, I'm going out and I want something that I know is going to give me some pigment, and I know that I can make like a nice going out makeup look with. This is definitely the sort of thing that I'd reach for. And it's like $8.99 I think. It's £8.95. I just think for that price it is incredibly good. This is definitely an eyeshadow palette that I would recommend. I feel like if you're into kind of more neutrals, you could use this palette, but if you also want some pops of colour, you could use this. It's just an all-rounder really. And again, as I said, I've been doing a lot of eyeshadow recently and I just really like it. It's just a really good eyeshadow palette. The runner-up for the best product that I've tried this month is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder, which I have got on me cheekbones today. Mine's in the shade Blossom Glow. I know there's 2 shades. This is the lighter one and it's got a pinky tone. I've used this one so much and like it's just so gorgeous. Works really well on pale skin tones. It's just beautiful. It's such a pretty highlighter. It's just really pigmented, but it also just meshes into the skin beautifully. Like it doesn't look like a harsh stripe of colour or anything like that, but like it's still incredibly pigmented. This is definitely going to probably be one of my favourite highlighters of the year. I've reached for this so much. I just really like it. I don't know what more I could say. It's pigmented, it sits on the skin beautifully. And the favourite product that I tried last month is the Nabla Close-Up Concealer. Mine is in the shade Porcelain. First of all, it's an incredibly pale shade. If you've got pale skin tones and you struggle to find things that work for you, definitely think this will. It's also got like a neutral undertone to it, so it's not too yellow and it's not too pink, so obviously it should be able to work on quite a lot of people for that reason. I've used this a lot. I just really love the formula of this. It's got beautiful coverage, it blends out so smoothly, the colour is amazing, stays on your face pretty much all day. It's just a really good concealer. This again is going to be one of my favourite concealers of the year. I think it's just something that I just find myself reaching for pretty much like all the time when I'm doing my base. It also smells like coconut, like it smells so incredibly nice. It is a bit pricey, I'll say that. I think it was like £16, was it? £15. So obviously it's not like a super high-end price, but it's definitely not cheap either. So that's my one kind of issue with it, but really I think it's worth it. It's just, it's so pretty, it just sits with the skin lovely, it's just got amazing coverage, and I feel like I've seen a lot of beauty gurus try this out, but then they've never really said anything like amazing about it, so that kind of confuses me a bit because I think it's a really good concealer. That's just my kind of more in-depth thoughts. I know I didn't say too much, but like, I don't know, there was just a lot of products this month. I was a bit overwhelmed here. I didn't really know how much detail to go into with everything. That's just some further insight into the products that I tried last month. Definitely a lot of really good things I've tried here. That's all I've got to say on that one, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.